here to give you your golf update.
Okay. So what happened? What happened with Tiger?
So he had a subtanular fusion surgery, which I think fuses portions of his ankle and foot together. Due to, you saw him limping. I don't know if you watch any of the Masters, but significantly limping on that foot and leg that he had the auto accident in. So
Sean,
gave the pain that he's been having, but two, it's supposed to help him walk better because the walking is the issue right now. And most major championships and PGA Tour courses are quite rolling terrain, i.e. there's some significant hills that you have to walk. And that's really the issue for him right now. It's not his golf swing. The golf swing is there. The power is there. The speed is there. The putting's a little rusty, but as far as his actual just golf game, that's just fine. He can compete with still the world's best. But if you can't walk, you're not going to be successful on a PGA Tour or at a major championship, and that's clearly the issue. Especially when the weather takes a turn of events and it's cold and it's rainy and it's windy. For anybody that's had surgery or broken bones or things of that nature, cold weather doesn't do, especially as you get older. For those of us that are late 30s and north, the joints and bones and things of that nature don't feel so good in cold weather versus hot and humid.
Well, you're going to have to bring me up to date on this because my last golf experience was me wrapping a 9-iron around a tree. And I have no clue who won this fucking thing.
Okay, so so it was a thrilling Masters through most of Sunday until really the last 4 or 5 holes when we sort of knew who had it wrapped up.
It was one hell of a Masters.
It was great. Other than the only drawback, and this is sort of the complaint a lot of people have been, and this is the casual fan, not someone like myself or Nikki, who are we're there every year. We're going to watch it all the way to the end and love it, regardless. But the last 4, and I think Nikki, you would agree with this, the last 4 Masters, going back to Dustin Johnson's win in that 20 year where they played it in November, the last 4 holes we knew who was going to win, barring a just like God striking the golfer down with a lightning strike. Assuming this golfer, and in 20 it was Dustin Johnson, in 21 it was Hideki Matsuyama, in 22 it was Scotty Scheffler, and now this year Jon Rahm. There was not a lot of drama on holes 15, 16, 17, and 18 as we're closing out the 4th round. And that's really what makes certain Masters better than other Masters, i.e. like the classic, the all-time is the 86 Masters when Jack shot 30 on the back 9 and went, eagle on 15, birdie on 16, par 17, or birdie on 17, and I think par on 18 to make the historic comeback. Same with Tiger in 19 when he ran everybody down on the back 9, starting on 12 when Francesco Molinari went in the water in Rays Creek and Tiger stuck it to like 3 feet, made birdie there.
04
Phil. Yeah, Phil with the toilet bowl swoosh into the cup on 18, and he did his little mini hop.
17, Sergio fighting at the end for that.
Getting the playoff with Justin Rose. Yeah. So what people really want is either a bunch of people in it in the last 5 holes, really 7 holes, because you could say 13 is a par 5 that it's risk reward, or even a head-to-head duel. And we thought we were going to have that duel this year.
We had it most of the final round.
Until like hole 7 is where Brooks blew up
Yeah.
and the
It was
wheels
tough.
started coming off for Brooks Koepka.
Mhm.
But it looked like it. So Koepka had the lead going into the final round. I think he was minus 12, I think, or minus 11, and Rahm was 2 strokes back. And within, I want to say, the first 3 holes, Rahm had tied him. Brooks had the double cross off the tee on the first hole. I was shocked he got up and down to save his par, which was incredible because he hooked his drive left behind the trees. I think that's the 9th fairway. You would know that better than I would, Nikki. And then he was able to take an iron, I think a 9-iron, go over the trees from that other fairway and get on, and then 2-putt to save par.
Yeah,
So that
it was the 9th because he went between the trees but into where the spectators are.
right. That was an incredible par save, and I thought, okay, Brooks he's gonna get the jitters out on that hole, and we're gonna have a classic, dogfight between Rahm and Koepka. And then on like 6, 7, and 8, Koepka's wheels started to come off, and John Rahm just like a bulldozer. He just keeps coming, man. John Rahm is the best player in the world right now. There's no debate. He's won 4 tournaments here in this calendar year. And he's the world number 1 for a reason. I mean, everything about his game, particularly at the Masters, was showcased. He can drive it with the best of them. He can hit irons close. His short game was good with his wedges. And the thing that usually gives him the most grief is putter. His putter was very reliable. So right now it's John Rahm.
And this
Scotty had it.
man was born with club feet.
Yeah, that's even more incredible.
That is just insane to me. To golf, like I know people that had club feet and were able to play football or baseball, but to golf, the way you have to use your legs to golf.
You have to use your legs to golf. And then the other thing that people forget, you're on your feet for 8 to 12 hours a day, and you're walking up to 9 miles around.
It's insane.
It's absolutely incredible. And John Rahm's one of just the nicest guys in the world. Lovely family. Him and his wife, they have a baby boy, and I think they have another child on the way.
Then they have a little girl.
Do they have a little girl too?
Yeah.
Okay. So they got a little boy, and they got a third on the way now.
Yeah, they have a third on the way. Their baby girl's only like 9 months old. So all of their kids, she will have 3 under 3. Here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Luckily, they've got a few dollars to have at least some help for her.
And that woman looks like she's like never had a baby in her life.
She looks great. She's gorgeous. It's a great story. I believe they're college sweethearts from Arizona State. I think she was on the track team. I think there.
She was. She pole vaulted and also she ran I can't remember. I think it was the 400.
Yeah, I mean, so beautiful family. It was touching. The other touching part of this. John, originally from Spain, he's the 4th golfer from Spain to take home the Masters. That's the 2nd most for any country outside of the United States. So Spain is starting to wrap its dominance around the Masters. They've had Seve Ballesteros win it, Sergio Garcia, Jose Maria Olazabal twice, Seve twice as well, and now John Rahm. So, and he dedicated his win to Seve, which that would have been Seve's 66th birthday and the 40th anniversary of his 2nd Masters win. And he brought his dad over, and having his dad there in person was touching. It was really a heartfelt Masters, and also, I felt bad for Brooks. This is the 2nd time he almost, he had one arm in the green jacket, and then it's not to be. No. I think Brooks eventually will get there. It was good to see him healthy finally. I know he's had knee issues over the last couple of years. Phil and Jordan Spieth putting on a show there on the final day of the Masters. Both went super low. In fact, that was Phil's lowest round in his history at the Masters. That
was a Masters record.
Yeah, which is incredible. for a guy that's 52 years old, we're not going to touch on the other stuff. I'm just purely talking about the golf.
I will always love Phil, no matter what it is. That might be one of my favorite that I watch actually win the Masters. Being there on Sunday, seeing him get his green jacket, to me, that was one. I seen Tiger win it, but
which one were you there for? Were you there for all three of his?
No, I only seen one.
The first one?
I seen 04.
04, okay.
And it was emotional for everyone that was at, the final hole, him finally winning it.
If I recall correctly, that not only was that his first green jacket, that was his first. He was getting the monkey off the best player to never won a major at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. And that started his little mini Mickle Slam run, if you remember, because he won the Masters.
It put fuel under him. He was like, I got this now. And what's funny, my second favorite will always be Sergio Garcia. I met Sergio when I worked at Hooters back in Augusta. Par 3 rained out. They were sitting at my bar. The caddy was sitting there still in his caddy, uniform. I was like, oh, you caddy, who you caddy for? And he looked at me like I was damn crazy because I have a Mick Ultra cutout behind me of Sergio. Have no clue who this man is. And he points over and I look, and then he points at that and he's like, him. Well, this was my first year in Augusta. I hadn't been to the Masters yet. And he left me par 3 tickets for when the course opened back up. So we got to hang out all Masters Week. Every year he came, he hung out. This is a man that purposely did not make the cut to party Masters Week. He was single, young, and enjoying life.
And he's got a few nickels to his name as well.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he gets married, has a kid, and makes the cut. And I was so excited and so proud. And then seeing his daughter's name is Azalea, named after the Masters. And he wins it. I was like crying because I'm telling you, 7 years in a row of him going to hospitality houses, doing the party buses. He never tried to even make the cut. He just wanted to enjoy Masters Week. And a lot of people don't understand Masters Week is like spring break for middle-aged people. It is not normal. And it's amazing. And so I can understand it. No other golf tournament has anything like what Augusta puts on for Masters Week.
Shannon's in here.
Hello, Shannon.
If he ever unmutes himself.
Shannon.
Fuck him.
Yeah. But yeah, Sean, when you are ready, my Baba said he will have you tickets. And you can come out and you can see not only what the course is like, because you walk in and you cry because it's something you've never seen before. Hush. But what Masters Week is. It's kind of scary.
I hate that.
What happened?
Oh, that's stupid. If you don't turn the Bose off, the Bluetooth just auto connects, and I'm like, why am I not hearing anything? Oh yeah, because Bose has a mind of its own.
Robert, but, Dr. Balls has been to Masters Week. He knows how insane it is.
I didn't know Bob.
When he was in Fort Gordon.
He didn't tell me that.
Step in, Bob, and tell us about it.
Well, I didn't actually get to go to the Masters. The week before, I had to do cleanup all around the Masters course and grounds. We're talking a rake on the sand and stuff like that.
Let me guess. Hold up. That was community service, wasn't it?
No, I was at Fort Gordon in training, and I won the lottery. In the morning when you're in training, they have a lottery who looks the best in uniform, right? And whoever wins that gets a special detail, right?
Yeah.
And my beret must have been straighter than the other idiots there, and then some of them had. So I got to go scratch sand pits with a rake at Augusta. But no, I'm telling you, the week the tournament was off the hook for the whole town of Augusta, Georgia, right?
Please explain. Because a lot of people haven't been to Augusta. And when people go to the Masters, they think Augusta is so beautiful and clean. And I'm like, no, that's just Masters week. The rest of the time, it's disgusting. Like, it's dirty.
Hello, this is Viral TikTok King and Justin Brindley. You're watching Smacking Off the Podcast with Doug and Shannon.
Support Smacking Off the Podcast by patronizing our affiliates' products. Go to our website at smackology.42web.io and click the affiliates link. There you will find a host of great deals to stretch your dollar to its fullest.
Great products like Showtime, Shark Vacuums, Dish Network, Vidgo, Hulu, NFL Plus, and GameStop. The list goes on. Remember, smackology.42web.io and remember to click the affiliates link for these products and many more.
I mean, I've never been there myself, so I'm, as you and I have talked before, Nick, like I'm anxiously awaiting, but I didn't know.
Well, when you go, I will meet you there, and I'll take you to the good places, and we'll stay away from like the trailer parks and stuff, because it's literally this amazing, one of a kind golf course in the middle of slum any other time.
Well, see, the thing about it is it's a military base town, and just like any other military base town, it ain't nothing but a bunch of pawn shops and strip clubs.
And haters.
Fort Stewart isn't too far from there, if I'm memory serves.
It's to the south and the east, out on near the coast.
I've never been there, so I couldn't. Yeah, I can't speak to it like you two can. But all I can say, the pictures. I've had, obviously, Nikki, you sent me pictures, and a couple other friends that are down there in Georgia have been there and sent me. Now, the crazy thing, here's something that many of our listeners, I know Nikki and Bob, you guys know this, but you can't bring cell phones in there, Doug.
No.
You'll be not only will you'll be asked quickly to leave, but you can bring in the old like Kodak, cameras. Those you can bring those in,
even if they have shutters that make noise.
Yeah, you have to bring a film camera. You can buy them in the gift shop, like the disposable cameras.
And so, like, my buddy was like, I had to drop a roll of film off at Walgreens, and they looked at me like I was nuts.
What are they worried about? People put stuff out on social media?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, here's another aspect of like she says, one of the reasons the Masters is beautiful is the grounds of the club and the tournament. In my opinion, the gardens and the grounds only rivals is Keeneland at the spring meet.
And they probably have the largest grounds crew staff of any course in America, if not the world. Number two, they've put in sub-air systems underneath all the tee boxes and greens. So all that rain they had over the weekend, you go, well, man, how did it drain and dry so quickly? Well, they have, they dug underneath those tee boxes and those greens and put in, essentially the same thing like the NFL has to suck all that water off the top layer and get it down underneath and channel.
There's a heating system underneath it.
Right. Yeah.
Now, of places I've been, the grounds, as far as how beautiful they were, right? The Masters ranks with the Louvre, the Residence in Würzburg, Germany, right?
I mean, this is why it's called. So St. Andrews might be the home of golf because it's the oldest, but the Masters is known as golf's cathedral.
Yes,
because it's one of the. It's like one of kind of the modern wonders of the world.
Like I said, you walk on, and the first thing you walk up and see is the leaderboard, this massive leaderboard, and you look over and you start seeing the course. And your whole body is full of chills, goosebumps. And I'm not kidding. you have tears just streaming down your face. Golf fan or not, I grew up in Florida, so I snuck on every golf course there is, Bay Hill, Lake Nona, all these golf courses. I didn't
Seminole?
think anything
Have you been on
about it.
Seminole?
Huh?
Have you been on Seminole down in Florida?
Yes.
That's on my that's on one of my bucket lists.
Champion Gate. We used to sneak on them at night in high school.
Yeah, me and my buddies.
Now, wait a minute. I need to know what you were sneaking on there for. I mean, just to adventure or just to see what golfing is all about, or to get stoned and do it on the 13th hole? What?
No, we would always have beer, and we would take the golf cart, and we would have light up golf balls. And none of us could golf, but we would sneak on until we got in trouble and ran off.
That's so wholesome. I mean, other than the underage drinking, that's a very wholesome story.
It is. We weren't doing anything bad, and they knew us.
That's a sweet story. I would actually watch that if that popped up in the scene in the movie. I'd sit and watch that and say, "Oh, this is so sweet. This is so America."
Get in trouble, they wouldn't do anything because how we snuck on Bay Hill and stuff is because our friend was Brian Hill's son, the coach of the Magic at the time. So,
I remember
they
Brian
didn't
Hill.
care. They had no cares in the world.
Now, the thing that another thing that a lot of people don't know, and they and Nikki knows this, but about Augusta National is when you look at the sand traps, right? You go, that's the whitest, nicest sand you've ever seen, and it comes specifically from an area of, I think, North Carolina, where the sand is enriched with quartz. So the sand they're actually hitting out of is little bits of quartz in the traps there at Augusta National. It's the only course in the world that has sand that pure.
Did you know?
I will say this though: you really need to go down to Perdido Key and at the very, very tip of Perdido Key and check that sand out because it's pretty white.
Yeah, that course has more secrets than any other course in the world. Bobby Jones' ashes are spread over Amen Corner, and his urn is in concrete at the bottom underneath where the bridge is at Amen Corner. It's underneath there.
You're talking the Hogan Bridge?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Nikki, I don't know why we haven't brought you on for some of the golf discussions that we've had with Mr. Devine because
I don't know. I watch
y'all could do you're a lot more than you watch golf. I mean, you're getting into the whole mythology and stuff here. I love it.
Living in Augusta, you learn the ins and outs, but here's how I learned all this crazy crap is I worked at Hooters, and one of my regulars was the head groundskeeper for the Masters. So
you're totally destroying my image of you, just like you built it up and then destroyed it like a sandcastle when the high tide was coming in.
Oh, hi, I'm Clemson Dane, and this is Smacking Off, the podcast.
It's like cocaine or something. I don't know. These motherfuckers just talk about college sports, specifically college football, and man, let me tell you, it's a hoot.
Watch what you love for less with Roku. Follow our affiliate link at smackology.42web.io for the best deals on Roku and many other great products.
So my first trip to see the Augusta National was at night with it lit up. No one there, just driving behind everything to see the course because I'd never seen it before.
Now, am I the only person that ever found Hooters totally unsatisfying?
Oh, I hate Hooters. I'm sorry, Nikki. I know you used to work there, but one of my least favorite dining experiences ever. And it's not really anything to do with the girls, not really anything to do with the food. Just I don't do sex and food. I think I'm on record on this program about that.
You don't do sex and food, You don't go to Hooters for sex.
No, but you don't go to Hooters for food either, really. And if you do, then what the hell are you doing eating that shit? You've eaten there before. You know what I'm talking about.
I got my best friend in trouble at Hooters, right? So we went to Hooters in the 90s, the one owned by Rex Chapman and Kenny Skywalker, right? So it was a big deal to me to go see all the memorabilia of Rex Chapman and Kenny Skywalker. But anyway, so I go in this place, and I know one of the girls working in there, and she's friends with my, at the time, ex-girlfriend.
That does not surprise me at all, Bob, that you knew one of the girls working in the Hooters that you were visiting.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. You know, it's just who I am.
You're a wild guy.
So I'm a wild guy. So I go in there and I go to get a beer, and we're having a conversation, and then my buddy sidles up next to me, and a couple friends met us up there, right? And they was over at the table. So my friend sidles up to me right where she asked me. She goes, "Are Jeanette's breasts real?" I go, "Absolutely." She goes, "Well, they look fantastic." And then my friend Mark, who's 3 sheets to me, goes, "Well, yours looks fantastic too." And then they run him out of there, right? And then he's screaming all the way out the door, "But he was talking about him too. It's his fault. Why ain't they running him off?" And I'm like, "I don't know what I did. She just asked me if my girlfriend's tests were real." You know what I'm saying?
They got in trouble for that.
No, they got in trouble because they reached out like they was going to grab hers and say,
yeah, you do not. Yeah, you don't touch people at all. You don't do that.
Actually get to touch.
You don't do that at the strip club either. That strip club, you'll get your jaw broke because 9 times out of 10, the bouncer's dating one of the dancers.
Oh, absolutely.
This week at like discotheque and stuff, they let you do whatever you want because they bring in the escorts from Platinum Plus in Atlanta and Columbia and New York.
Oh, well, Jeanette, she was relatively famous. She worked at Pure Gold in Lexington. She was bright redhead, had lily white skin and bright green eyes. She didn't have a blemish or a freckle on her body.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I don't know. I like my gingers freckled, dude. Sorry.
Well, she was
my gingers got to have some spots on them.
She was more of a Norwegian style ginger than a Irish style, right?
Like
oh yeah, now hey, I can appreciate. Trust me.
That's rare. That's like
and so she was a huge money maker. She was well known in Lexington, you know.
So getting back to golf,
I don't know. Really, I think we veered into the right conversation. Actually, Sean.
Oh, let me tell you, her adopted mother was. Let me tell you how Jeanette's adopted mother was. Jeanette's adopted mother, and you can Google this person, was named Nikki Mays, and she was the richest person in Lexington, maybe the world at the time. Right?
Is she kin to me?
She might be, and she, the Queen of England, stayed at her house, not at the hotel, but at Nikki Madden's house, and that was
we're doing ancestry tonight because you could be worth millions.
Yeah, and Nikki Madden was one of the richest people in the world and one of the biggest socialites in the world. And I happened.
Well, I think I would have found out about that though, because I had a brother that did ancestry.
Yep, she's a Lexingtonian big time. You know, the old school Lexingtonian where it's money everywhere, but it's real and not based on bullshit. You know, the kind of money that never goes away no matter what happens to the economy. It's based on real things like land and goods and stuff like that. Yeah.
Good old money.
Dead money.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it.
There wasn't no blue people that had any of that, was there?
No. And even though she was married to a guy from the Appalachian Mountains, and he took her last name, and he became the principal of Henry Clay High School. And
that might be the one I'm married. That might be the one I'm kin to.
And then he gave me my first teaching job.
But he got her money. Did he outlive her, or was it vice versa?
No, she's outlived like 400.
Nah, he didn't make nothing.
Yeah,
not for real.
So let me tell you how rich they were, right? So it's in like February, and all my cars are broken down. The only thing's running is like a 1976 Sportster, right? Ironhead Sportster, one of the worst motorcycles ever made, right? And and it's like 10 degrees, right? And she's calling them to come get her, right? And she's ready to go back to town, and I live down the Kentucky River, middle of nowhere. So she's on the phone begging them to come get her and send the butler to come get her or whatever. So they put me on the phone with Mrs. Madden, right? So I get on her, "How you doing, Miss Madden?" She goes, "Rob, we got to do something about this." She goes, "I'm tired of sending somebody to come get her." She goes, "You ain't got no cars that run, all the land and stuff you got?" And I'm like, "No." I said, "I'm land poor." I said, "All I got that run right now is a Harley Davidson." I said, "I'll take her up the road and hit it 10 degrees. We'll see how that works out." And she was real prissy. She never would have happened, right? And so Anita goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sending a guy to come get you, and he's going to take you and get you a car." I go, "What do you mean he's going to come take me and pick me up and get me a car. She goes, it's just like I'm saying. She goes, there's like 4 car dealerships in Lexington that they're all loaned out to me or they wouldn't exist. And he's going to come and get you and take you to one of them. I'm like, okay.
Was his name Jeeves?
Huh?
Was his name Jeeves?
I don't know. Actually, his name was Jerry.
Anyway, better if his name was Jeeves. Most butlers are named Jeeves.
So, anyways, Jerry comes and gets me and Jeanette, right? And we ride up to Lexington from down in Nicholasville to Kentucky River, 25-minute ride through fucking absolute hell of curves and hills and shit like that. Oh, yeah. And we get into Lexington, and he stops me at Glen Nissan, which is on Richmond Road, right by the Hooters she's talking about. And so we roll in there. And he goes, she said to buy you a car. He goes, what do you want? And I looked around. I seen a 300ZX, but I knew that would be bad taste, right? And
somebody offers you a free meal. You don't go directly for the steak and scallops. You try to keep it middle of the road.
Oh, yeah. Then I thought about the farm, but all their trucks was tiny, and they wouldn't get the job done. If they'd been Toyotas, I'd have got a truck, but they wasn't Toyotas. But anyway, so I look around, I seen this Nissan Maxima station wagon with 2 sunroofs and a 6-speed manual, right? And she goes,
What year?
About 94, 95.
My dad had one of those. It was tan.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Oh, it was tan? Well, this right here was maroon with the tan leather interior.
Get out of town.
And anyway, so
that was a hot car.
Yeah, it was a hot car, and Jerry didn't know nothing, right? And I'm like, and it's as highly loaded as a Maxima can possibly be, and it's a wagon with 2 sunroofs, right?
Oh, yeah. You can throw gear in that, baby.
That's right. That's exactly what I was talking about.
That's right. Yeah, I know what you was thinking.
Yeah, my drum set fits in this bad boy, my Marshall stack, all of it. Anyway, so I'm like, Jerry, I said, you know what? I said, I could do favors. If I had the right car, I could do favors for Miss Madden. He goes, that's what she said to do something practical. I said, well, I want this wagon right here. He goes, nobody drives wagons no more. I said, look, I'm taking one for the team here to drive this wagon. I appreciate y'all buying me a car a whole lot because I'm really down. I ain't worked since like November. I said, but I want this Maxima, right? And then they bought me the Maxima, $32,000. And I rode down the road and they paid my insurance. Hell, they sent the damn registration already filled out to my house and the tags didn't even do nothing. And never seen. And so I drove it. So bitch
right there. That's living good.
Yeah, so I drove that car 4 years and probably put close to 60,000 miles on it. And a guy in Indianapolis gave me $25,000 for it.
That's a nice car. Those are nice cars.
It was a hell of a car. Had electric everything. I mean, if you think of a gadget they had in 1995, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
I need to find someone to buy me a G-Wagon.
Did you get your G-Wagon yet there?
No.
No. Well, what's the hold up?
I'm working on a...
what's the hold up?
Lord, buy me a Mercedes Benz.
I have a Mercedes. I'm trying to convince James now to buy a $2.5 million horse farm that backs up to our property in Texas. And he said, well, I said, well, we can play the lotto. And he's like, yeah, I have to play it to win it. I'm like, well, we can have a $16,000 mortgage.
Is he any good at poker? You can do that the World Poker Tournament there, World Series of Poker.
We got two. You got the World Poker Tour and then the World Series of Poker.
He's working on Beat the Streak. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
Which one? What is it?
Beat the Streak. It's the baseball where you pick who hits every night.
Oh yes, yeah. And it's like daily fantasy, right?
Yeah, and if you get 50, it's like I think 5 million or something right now. It goes up every week, and he's already up to 15 in a row. So he said if he wins, he would buy me my horse farm.
This is James?
Yeah.
I should have called him for my fantasy baseball draft then. Because I'm sucking eggs right now. I'll just tell you that.
So I want to put some odds on you actually being able to acquire this horse farm. Let's get some odds going.
The odds are like 0 to 0.
How many acres is it, by the way?
It's 100 acres. Ooh. It has 5 houses on it. But the main house is a custom built house that's 3,900 square feet. Ooh. It has an Olympic-sized swimming pool, but
Oh my God, the heating and air bill on that thing. Well, yours would be air. Yeah.
What's the property tax on it?
Well, it's ag.
So okay.
So it's tax we get our property tax on it every year because it's ag would probably be around $350.
Now wait a minute. The houses that are on it, was this like some kind of boarding farm, or was this a boys' home or something? What?
No, it's a horse facility. So you have 100
Is that where the stable hands, I guess, they lived, and people that worked on the farm?
Yes.
So
our property
to learn how to ride too, right?
Yeah, we have 1,600 acres. On the 1,600 acres, there's 3 houses.
So basically, you're trying to buy a horse plantation.
Yes, because I looked into building a full horse facility, and it would cost me that.
Riding, jumping, and horse racing is a sport of kings for a reason. It's an expensive, very expensive hobby.
Let me tell you how it works in Nicholasville and Lexington. So what people do...
I just want to play with them.
Bob lives in horse country. He'll tell you all about it.
I'm going to tell you exactly how it works. So you're rich and you're in Indianapolis and Cincinnati and you decide you want to play horse farmer. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you have to buy 5 acres because Central Kentucky is so coveted to buy in. Mm-hmm. You have to buy a 5-acre lot minimum, right? And that's about $80,000. Then you have to, because of the zoning, you have to put about a $2 million house on it. Then when you're done with that, your McMansion, then you have to build all kinds of facilities on it, and that's another $1.5 million. Then, but so you can keep up with the Joneses, you got to buy the right horse, and that could be anywhere from $200,000 to $2 billion, right? And then the kicker, you have to send your little girl to steeplechase school, right? Yeah. That goes on day in and day out every day, not just Monday through Friday, right? And we're talking from sun up to sundown every minute they ain't in school, right? And that ain't cheap. So, and then what happens is of every 50 people that try that, about 2 of them stay. The rest of them crap out, and that $2 million house and all the facilities go for about $800,000.
Yep, it's different in Texas because we're not trying to breed for that type. We're going rodeo, western.
Well, you can buy Morgans and quarter horses in Lexington. They're there at the stockyards, top notch ones. They ain't cheap, but they got them.
Oh no! And so we have horses on the regular property, and we do a lot of rescue. So I bring in horses that need help, and I bring them back to health, and we ride those, and they have a place to, have a home and stuff. So I don't know. I just felt.
Oh, I love horses. Now Sean is an officer, so Sean would get either a top-notch Justin Morgan or a Tennessee Walker.
I'm quite all right walking. I'm not comfortable on a horse, and yeah.
I got some pals you can ride.
Now, what if you got duty? What if you got duty to flank the caissons?
I got some goats.
I'll pray that the horse is benevolent and doesn't.
We can start you on sheep.
It's all about love, Sean.
Thank God, I'm not part of the cavalry. So
this conversation is really taking a weird turn.
It went from golf,
to Sean Devine riding a sheep.
Well, just think about it. I mean, he's an officer.
Golf, which is an expensive sport, to horses, which is an even more expensive sport.
But then it went from you riding a sheep, and I think I feel like the whole conversation kind of jumped the shark there. I'm just saying.
But that's what you start. You have to start riding a sheep if you want to.
No, you don't. We're not making Sean Devine ride a sheep. It's just not going to happen on this show.
I'm lucky to ride in a Toyota Corolla, and I'm fine with that.
He's a man of great dignity, and so forth. So I don't see that.
Toyota Corolla is a great car.
Yeah, they are. That's what the top. That Honda Civic, small Toyota truck, those are the kings right there.
You just keep getting miles upon miles upon miles. I got 110,000. I just took this thing in for its checkup. I was like, you can drive this.
Sean, I got a farm car. It's a Toyota Matrix from 03. And
the one that Doug has is pretty much an indestructible car. I see those all the time come up on Craigslist and shit with 400,000 miles, and they still want like $5,000 for it.
Hey, this is Kyle Golick of the Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm at the Basketball Hall of Fame. You don't need to come to Springfield, Massachusetts. We got our own Hall of Fame analyst in Dr. Balls.
I'm disappointed that y'all didn't have the conversation that we were talking about, because in my opinion, the only solution to that problem cuts everybody out. So
and again, we kind of got the golf and horses and Sean Devine riding a sheep that we
let me wrap up. So the golf, it doesn't end with the Masters. It keeps rolling. We got the next major to look forward to, and they've structured this great. Every month there's a big tournament, right? Mm-hmm. And so you had the Players Championship in March. You had the Masters in April. Next month, May, I think it's the weekend after Mother's Day, so you're not going to interfere with Mom's Day, is the PGA Championship, classic course, Oak Hill up in Rochester, New York. A real old money kind of joint. That's going to be great. June, always ending on Father's Day, is the U.S. Open. I'm gonna have to look up where Nikki. Do you know where the U.S. Open is this year? The men's U.S. Open. Off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank as to where the women's U.S. Open is going to be out here with me at Pebble Beach. But I'm trying to remember where the men's.
Is it going to be at Valhalla again? I think I read something in the paper about that, but it may have been.
No, the PGA Championship's coming back to Valhalla in 2 years, Bob. Which I'm going to try to link up with you for that one.
Yes, I'd love to see it.
That's a great course.
I have the calendar, and I don't know where it went. I do not off the top of my head. Because we just went through it, and I can't even remember.
It's not at Pinehurst, if memory serves. That's in a year.
What's that one place they have it every now and Shinnecock, this or that?
Oh, it's no wonder, because talk about familiarity, because I was talking about it, but I'm not going to go because they're going to want too much money. But it's out in LA at LA Country Club, which is an extremely for California
that's probably why I don't remember.
Big money to be at any of the country clubs in Los Angeles. So that's why I'm going to the U.S. Women's Open, which is at Pebble Beach, because Pebble Beach is open to the public.
Gorgeous.
Yes, of course. But it's a public. It's what people don't know about Pebble Beach is it's open to the public. It's a public course, public links. Whereas the men are playing at LA Country Club, which is very, very private and expensive. And then July, of course, you have the Open Championship over in the UK. This year, the Open, it was at St. Andrews last year, which everyone loves St. Andrews, but it can't be there every year. So I think this year it's in Liverpool at Hoy Lake.
St. Andrews is my favorite.
St. Andrews is that one, and Carnoustie up in Scotland, because that one's Carnoustie's like the most Scottish of all the Scottish courses they play.
My grandmother thought she was going on this amazing holiday over there. They swapped houses for 3 months in Ireland, and it was because my grandfather did it in the middle of all the tournaments. He got to go to St. Andrews. He got to go to all of the courses in Scotland. And my grandma was like, what the hell?
Everybody needs to go over to the group chat over on Facebook Messenger real quick and look at this pizza that Doug just got. It is the most disgusting thing I've seen in quite a while. And I'm a plumber. I see disgusting things all the time, and this one's rough.
I mean, that would took months for you to get that. I mean, what do they do? Just pull one out from under a shelf?
Would you just leave it? Yeah, Doug, you must have left that in the trunk for like a couple months, and then went and got groceries one day, and it probably came dislodged or something and fell in with the groceries.
No, I actually ran across it on my thread and just thought that I should share it. It's a thing of beauty.
Oh, I thought that was something that you had at your house.
No,
on your thread.
So,
who's posting that kind of crap?
Yeah, that's nasty.
I believe that was Fletcher.
So I was right. Yeah, so Liverpool in England is where the Open will be to conclude.
That's where the Beatles were from.
Yes. So, and I believe Tiger won one of his 3 British Opens at that course as well. Yeah. So, going to be a fun last 3 majors of the year, and then of course in August you have the run up to the FedEx Cup, which will conclude as always at the beautiful East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta. So, and then we're into foot, and it's the perfect timing too because it's the weekend before college football starts. So that's why golf is
which is the whole reason that we're here, anyways.
Right. So golf is mine. Not
you guys know we got the draft next week too.
We do have the draft next Thursday. That's right.
Yes.
Oh shit! We're gonna have to put together a draft segment.
Yeah, we really need to.
It could be a banner day for Alabama fans. It looks like Bryce Young's going to be the first player taken.
I think he is.
Not necessarily a banner day because I really don't want to see him go.
I know. And Anderson should go free.
Would that be the first ever Bama player taken overall number 1? I think it would be, right?
Perhaps, yeah. That would. If he is indeed taking number 1, which I don't know. I mean, who pulled first in the draft this year?
Well, the Bears had the first pick and they traded it to Carolina. And the reason they think it's going to be Young is that Young met with the Panthers a couple weeks ago, and then he was supposed to meet with the team that was picking 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and he canceled those visits.
Oh,
so the Panthers are denying it though. I saw that on Twitter today.
Well, they have to. That's a smokescreen.
And it's illegal.
Tampering.
It's actually tampering. Miami got in trouble with it quite a few times.
They lost the draft pick this year over it.
Yeah, they can't tell a player I'm drafting you. It's supposed to be a surprise.
It's supposed to be a surprise for all of us, the viewers.
Yeah, and we all know, when they start trading up like that after visits, you kind of know. Like Will Anderson at number 3. It stayed that way, and it's been that way since the beginning.
Yeah, I think the Panthers take Young at 1.
Yeah,
the Texans will take C.J. Stroud probably at number 2.
Anderson 3.
3.
The Colts are taking Richardson at 4.
Richardson at 4, right? Yeah, and then after that, it could be anybody.
Does the Colts have a coach that can develop Richardson into a quarterback?
They have. They actually have good quarterback coaches and good offensive coordinators that I believe can.
So I'm curious about that because you're going to have to tailor offense to him similar to Jackson at the Ravens. You're going to have to do something similar to that. I mean, because he proved that he can't make reads. Right.
And see, Reed wanted him with the Panthers bad. He wanted him at Carolina because he wanted to work with him for 2 years and build around him. And everyone else said no.
He's got a better arm though than Jackson though. I mean, watching him at the combine, Anthony Richardson, that is. Man, he threw that one, and I swear that was about a 75, 80-yard throw.
Hell, he may be a better athlete than Jackson.
Oh, he blew away every, all those different tests they do at the He was, number 1 in everything. Yeah.
But here's the thing with him. Everyone wants to down him. Say, oh, he's going to be a bust. He's going to be this. Because, I watched him for 13 games. With changing of coaches.
If he's the right quarterback coach and head coach, I think he could be a superstar.
It's possible.
Yeah.
The most overhyped player in the draft is Levis. All Levis is Jeff George, right, with a little bit less ego, right? And the fact that he's got a huge arm and believes he can put it wherever he wants it, I mean, that's great, right? The truth of it is, even when he had a line, Will Levis was an interception turnover machine.
That means my Raiders are probably going to draft him, Bob. Thanks for that.
Well, I hate to say it.
They're saying the Titans.
Now, he's got a huge heart, though. He is tough. You got to give him credit.
I think he can be the same way. I honestly believe he can be the same. If he has the right coaching, he can be, if he's developed right with time, he could be the right quarterback. Andrew, give it to me.
Now, Bob, we got to verify this. You're the Levis expert because you saw him all those years in Kentucky. But What's this I hear about him putting mayonnaise in his coffee? Can you validate?
Yeah, he's a attention hound. He put mayonnaise in his coffee. He had a live Twitter feed and stuff.
He eats bananas without peeling them. He just eats them with the skin on. Is that?
This is why I think he has a chance, though, Sean. Now, I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback right off the bat. I don't see how it could happen.
I don't know of any franchise quarterback that has ever put mayonnaise in his.
Yeah, that's curious.
He's willing to put it all out there, is my point, right?
I did see that video of him on his knees throw the ball from the 50-yard line and hit the crossbar. That was pretty impressive, I'll say.
Yeah, he's got a hell of a fucking cannon. But, I mean, when he had Liam Cohen as the offensive coordinator, Cohen was able to simplify it to where there was really only one or two reads, and the line was good enough to give you the time to make that. And he only really had one guy to go to, which was Wan'Dale Robinson, right?
Yep.
So, but they had a running game, and they had a real line. When he had that, he was successful. And those guys all went to the NFL. I mean, when you make lines like that, they go to the NFL, you know? And they all went to the NFL, and he didn't have no line. And then his running back was suspended for 4 games, and it was all about him. And he literally threw the game away against Ole Miss. He had comeback. We had comeback chance after comeback chance, and he threw away every opportunity, literally. Right?
The turnover was giving me pause with Levis.
And that's the problem. It's not, is he talented enough? Yes. I mean, the dude looks like Tim Tebow on steroids. Have you ever seen this guy? I mean,
he needs the right coaching and he needs time.
Yes, he does. And Geno Smith proves that when you get that, you can be at least adequate.
But back to the mayonnaise and the coffee, a friend of mine actually did it, and he hates coffee, but he actually had Will on their podcast. They have a podcast. Mostly it's college baseball, but they have some other athletes on too. And they had Will on, and they asked him about it, and he's done it for years. And he decided to try it. Jim tried it, and he said it tastes amazing.
Now, another thing, I bet you it is. Another thing about Levis is one of the guys. Levis is one of the guys in the locker room, right? He's not.
You guys should try it. You guys, I don't drink coffee. Do it.
Levis,
I do. I'm actually drinking coffee right now, and there's no way in hell I'm putting mayonnaise in it. So
put mayonnaise in it.
Go grab a
no, and mayonnaise is okay. I do mayonnaise on sandwiches, but that's it. That's the extent of being mayonnaise.
Come on, let's do it. We're live. Let the world know this.
Grab a scoop of Dukes and put it in your coffee and just let them.
Come on.
I'll stand out in the middle of 65 with my balls out before I put mayonnaise in my coffee. Thank you.
Okay.
And Doug knows this. Doug knows that I will go stand out in 65 with my balls out. I think I've done it before. I don't know. I can't remember shit.
You will before I eat any fucking thing with mayonnaise on it.
Yeah, you're not a mayonnaise fan. Doug has never been a mayonnaise fan.
What about sushi?
I love sushi.
I don't eat raw fish.
God, I do, baby.
Sushi. Can you believe I got sushi here in the mountains? It was unbelievable.
Now, most of the sushi that I eat is cooked, but I like a few things raw. I like raw tuna.
I pickled the mayonnaise last night. That's like my favorite.
Are you preggers?
I wish I could get preggers. I can't.
Why do you wish that you could get preggers? Oh my God, don't you remember that? It's frustrating.
Baby fever. All of my friends and their babies and.
Well, play with their babies. You don't have to have one.
I'm just spending a lot of money buying them shit.
Well, you'll just have grandkids before you know it, and you can raise them too, like us.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll steal them.
Yeah, we didn't steal them.
I've been trying to steal.
See, I was smart. I waited late, so I don't really have to. Of course, then again, I may be stupid, and I may have to wind up raising grandkids when I'm 60 in my 60s. But
hello, you waited late. I'm 40 years old, and Charlotte's 4.
Yeah,
I was 43 when we had Rory.
Yeah, I mean, come on, shit happens.
You know what we should talk about? The impending
when you don't pull out. Yeah.
Goodness.
James don't know how to do that. He could look at me and I could get pregnant.
Ooh.
So you're saying that he's not the pull-out king?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Got 3 kids.
Before I ask this, Sean, you said that Bryce would be our first number 1.
Yeah.
I thought maybe.
And I think you're right. But,
am I missing?
I will say that Keith McCants in 1990 was projected to go number 1, and then he went down to the combine, and they found out that he was a lot slower than they thought he was.
Well, I guess
he dropped from 1st to 4th.
I do have an alibi on that.
What's that?
Before the merger, I think Namath was the number 1 overall pick in the AFL draft.
He was, and he was. I think he was.
That was pre-merger.
It was the biggest contract ever at that time, I think.
Yeah, so you had 2 different drafts. So you had the NFL draft and the AFL draft, and basically what it amounted to was, like you said, it was a bidding war.
And he got drafted by both leagues, but
yes, yeah.
But the Jets, or was it the Jets, or was it another team?
Sonny Werblin, who owned, I think, RCA Music at the time, also owned the Jets, and told Joe that he would give him some like $600,000 back in '65, which that's nuts money. And I forget which NFL franchise drafted him. Was only going to offer him $250,000.